Today, let's talk about the top cost of ownership, about the enterprise calculation. Let's adjust the camera. Yes, here. Okay, much more better, much better. Okay, when we talk about the CPU and GPU, about Intel and Apple, recently, because we have found that Apple CPU, the ARM CPU, is very performance, with high performance. So let's have some knowledge. Let's understand about the Apple Silicon ARM CPU. The MacBook M1 or M2 CPU developed by Apple is based on the ARM architecture and features and integrated neutral network. Neural. Integrated neural network and GPU units. Here is the main purpose and types of calculation. Neural engine. Neural engine. The M1 and M2 CPU integrate the neural network engine. Okay. The M1 or M2 CPU integrate a neural network engine for efficiency execution of machine learning and artificial intelligence tasks. It utilizes dedicated hardware. It utilizes the dedicated hardware accelerator to perform maximum multiplication, to perform matrix multiplication, to perform matrix multiplication, to perform matrix multiplication, vertical operations, and other computer related to neural network and other computers.
Neural networks.
And other computations and other computations related to neural networks, primary handling floating point operation.
Floating point operations.
Primary handling floating point operations. Primary handling floating point operations. Primary handling floating point operations. The GPU. M1 or M2 CPU also include a powerful GPU tool for graphic rendering and accelerate general purpose computing and accelerated general purpose computing tasks. It can perform large scale partial computing.
Parallel computations.
Parallel computations. Large scale parallel computation.
Parallel computations.
Large scale parallel computations. Primary handling floating point operation. Primary primarily handling floating point operations. Compared to Intel CPU and NVIDIA GPU, the M1 and M2 CPU offers several The MU or M2 CPU offers several advantages: high performance and energy efficiency.
High performance and energy efficiency.
High performance and energy efficiency. The M1 and M2 utilize advanced 5 nanometer process technology. 5 nanometer.
Nanometer.
5 nanometer process technology and benefits from the ARM architecture architectures, delivering exceptional performance and energy efficiency. Its CPU and GPU units are designed and optimized by Apple to provide excellent performance per watt.
Excellent performance per watt.
High integration. The M1 integrates the CPU, GPU, and neural network energy into a single chip, resulting in increased data throughput. Increased data throughput and reduce
latency,
enhance overall performance. The M1 and M2 integrate the CPU, GPU, and the neural network engine into a single chip, resulting in increasing data throughput and reduce latency, enhancing overall performance. Optimize the software ecosystem. Apple designed both the hardware and the software, tightly integrating the M1 and M2 with its macOS system and subsequent version and subsystem system with its macOS system to optimize the performance and energy efficiency. This close collaboration between hardware and software lead to a better user experience and higher performance. For server, the M1 and M2 CPU has a wide range of applications. Its high performance and energy efficiency makes it suitable for various server workloads, including web server, database server, and machine learning
inference
and machine learning inference server. Due to its integrated neural network engine and powerful GPU, it excels in machine learning and deep learning tasks. However, for special server requires that demand more scalability and customization, traditional server CPUs and standalone GPU may be more appropriate. Second topic, let's talk about the server performance estimation. When construction a system, it must be meet the needs of future business development and management to the next. It must meet It must meet the needs of future business development and management for the next 5 years. Therefore, the following estimation of server performance indicates will be based on meeting the requirements for the next 5 years. Therefore, the following estimation, therefore, the estimation of server performance indicate will be based on meeting the requirements for the next 5 years. Let's assume.
Assume.
Let's assume a scenario. Let's assume a scenario for a typical enterprise application system, which include a database server, middleware server, and application server. Certainly, we can also utilize server clusters or virtual servers. However, in this case, let's simplify the scenario. For estimate the performance and the capacity of the server, we need to use the TPCC value, that transaction per session performance. That is transaction per session performance console. This is the benchmark that is commonly used to evaluate the performance of database server, particularly for online transaction per session workloads. Online transaction per session OLAP workloads, and we can use it for application and middleware, and we can use this TPCC, and also we can use TPCC for application and middleware server. TPCC for database server, we need to consider factors. We need to consider factors such as the number of concurrent online users. For example, 100 user. 100 concurrent user. Secondly, we need to consider factors such as the number of concurrent online user. On average, each user send how many business requirements per minute. On average, each user send how many business requests, how many business requests per minute. And business request consists of SQL DML statement. For example, update, query, and statistics. Each counting for one third. On average, each update business generate 3 transactions. On average, each query business generate 8 transactions. On average, each query business generate each query insert business generate, yes, it should be insert. Update query statistics, update and query and statistics. Okay. Each update business generate 3 transactions. Each query business generate 8 transactions. Each statistics business generate 13 transactions. but special in financial system, which insert business certain transaction. This is the T4. The peak processing volume. The peak processing volume during a business day is 5 times the average empirical.
Empirical coefficient.
Empirical coefficient. Empirical coefficient.
Empirical coefficient.
Empirical coefficient 1.6 based on actual energy experience, based on actual engineering exercises.
Engineering
experience. Server reductant is considered at 30%. So the required processor capacity for the server is calculated as follows: TPCC equal to U1 multiply N1 multiply the average of T1, T2, T3, and T4, and multiply empirical
coefficient.
Empirical coefficient and divide reductant coefficient. So we can get the TPCC value, and let's talk about the next subtopic is the memory estimation. The server's memory mainly consisted mainly consists of memory occupied by the operating system, the database system, and the concurrent connections, assumptions. The OS occupied
approximately
400 MB of memory space. The database system occupied 1 GB of memory. Each concurrent connection occupied 5 MB of memory. Server memory reductant is considered at 15%. Therefore, the memory estimation for the server is all of the sum of the value of the condition of the conclusion of every subitem and divide to the reductant, so we can get the minimal memory should be 2 GB. And let's see the estimated storage capacity. The budget management system store data information such as the invoice date and the management information such as log. But we can get this information by our recommendation from the vendor, and we can get the comparison from the competitors, and we can get the experience from our consultants suggest, because storage always not much more. Okay, with this.